Hey guys, this is Prabpreet, and today I'm going to be talking about 24 to 70 lenses. Now, whether you're in professional or if you're doing somewhat in the middle, where you're trying to transition into something more professional, invest into newer gear. That means, first of all, picking up a new body or a new lens. This camera lens might just be at the top of your range. So if you're looking for something to invest in, but there's two options right in front of you for Sony, at least, right? So either you can go for Sigma, which has 24 to 70, 2.8, or you can go for G Master, which has 24 to 70, but it comes at like almost twice the price range. So where do you draw the line? Everybody talks about these things, but nobody actually talks about using it all day, for example, for a wedding shoot. How does it feel in your hand for 14 to 16 hours sometimes in a day shooting with that? And how does it actually make your life better or worse? Camera quality, of course, with a much more expensive lens is going to be a lot better. Now, that a lot better just depends on how you look at it. It's definitely subjective. But in terms of usability, I find that spending that extra cash may make your workflow a lot better, and it may make your day a lot easier. So here's a 24 to 70 from Sigma that I owned almost for 3 years now. I think this one came out right around COVID, so 2020, and I picked it up right then. And ever since then, this has been my go-to base photography lens. As I'm holding them in my hands, I can already tell you the size difference, not just in terms of how big or small they are. The one from Sigma seems way heavier. Imagine carrying that up and up every single time you're trying to take a photo. You're doing basically curls all day. So you end up curling maybe, let's just say, over at least 100 pounds a day. So instead, going for the lighter version will definitely be easier on your body. When you do this for 14, let's say 12, 14, 16 hours or whatever in a day, you're going to be tired of using these lenses. So why not invest in something that's going to make you feel a little more better with your body and not going to wear you out so easily? And with that, one thing is very important, right? When you're not getting tired, when you're saving your body, you're also getting more creative shots because your focus is now not on hard work and labor. Now your focus is on creating artistic shots. So definitely recommend that, just because of the size itself, right? Now let's go into the other aspect, which I think is the most important part that nobody even talks about. It's the zoom, right? So 24 to 70, what does it do the best? It zooms. But normally when we take pictures, we just have one hand on the body and then the other hand would be on the zoom. So it basically zoom in and out. So the one thing that you end up moving around the most during the day is probably going to be your zoom ring. Just like the focus ring, you have a zoom ring, right? So with this zoom ring, you end up almost rotating your fingers on this all day, right? So you're feeling this for, let's say, 12 hours a day. And at the end of the day, one thing that I did notice was that my fingers would feel a little worn out. It's almost like I took a sandpaper and rubbed it against my fingers so many times. And what I'm referring to here is the texture of this zoom ring. And I know I'm complaining here, but when you're doing it for 12 to 16 hours, it becomes a thing, right? It becomes something noticeable because you start to question yourself, why does my thumb feel like this, especially on the side, because that's what I'm using to zoom in and out of, right? So why does it end up happening? So that was one of my biggest complaints about this lens. So when I tried out the G Master, the texture on the zoom ring is significantly lower. It's like using a much more heavier sandpaper than like a much more flatter one, right? So like, let's say 40 grit versus like 200 grit. So there's a difference, right? So this one feels a lot more natural to the hand. I love how when I'm zooming in or out, it just feels soft to the hand. It doesn't feel heavy at all. So not just because of the weight, not just because of the size, just because how it feels in my hand definitely makes a huge difference for me. Using this for a longer event feels really good in hand. And that too on top of the fact that, it's giving you crisp photos. Is Sigma even bad? Not at all, right? But when we're talking about precision, when we're talking about the colors, when we're talking about all those things like contrast in your photos, are we talking about sharpness all around your image? What about the colors, right? All those things really matter when you go into professional photography. So I'm not going to tell you which lens to buy. I'm not going to convince you to buy the GM2 and try to make $1,400 for Sony, which I get nothing out of, by the way. So I'm not going to try to do any of that, but my point of making this video was plainly to tell you about this one feature. If you're going into wedding photography, or if you're going to be using this lens all day, where you're going to be zooming in and zooming out, it might not be the best to go for Sigma, because, as I said again, these zooming in and zooming out features are cool, but if you do it all day, you're going to wear out your finger. And I don't know if you can tell, but my finger is pretty much flat from that side. So definitely invest in something that'll make you feel better as a photographer. Yeah, but rest assured, if you're just beginning to enter into photography, I would say this is a great lens. Sigma 24-70 2.8 provides you with sharp images. It gives you what you need. I've used it for 3 years in professional photography. I can't diss on this lens now just because I found something better. But the fact that it did wear me down a little bit is there. But at the same time, this has given me a lot of opportunity. It has made my career in photography as well. So thankful for this lens, but definitely if you're someone who can spare an extra $1,000 or so, I would say go for the GM2. It's going to make your life a lot easier in the long run, and it may be the lens that'll last you maybe 10 to 15 years, because good glass will last you forever. And that's all for today. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to help you out. But yeah, this was just my experience. Nothing bad on the end of Sigma or Sony or whatever it is. It's just my opinion and how I use this lens the most. So if you guys have any questions, please do let me know, and please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.